Hello, guys, welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is the Rex Arthur Show where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ perspective and an LGBTQ approach. And we are very happy to have you join us this day. And today we're just going to go through news, but just there's really not much news today, so we'll not do a very big video. And it's mostly Brexit that is making the news, and Britain is really in a crisis because there are calls for a second referendum, but the Prime Minister has called for a vote next January to for MPs to vote for the Brexit deal. But meanwhile, the opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn has what do you call it? Has filed a motion of no confidence against the Prime Minister. So, motion of no confidence against the Prime Minister. So there has been chaos in Britain for most the last part of this year, and it's because of the Brexit issue. And I think my 2 cents to the whole scenario is that Britain, there's no point, there's no harm in doing a second referendum. That's my view. Reason being, sometimes, like in English, we have second thoughts. At first you have the first thoughts, then on second thoughts, maybe. So I've already done enough videos about Brexit. That's why I will not talk much about it. I told you the problem of Brexit is there are two wings. There's the political wing and there's the economic wing. Now, the political wing is the one that carried the day. What does this mean? Britain does not want to be ruled by Brussels, because politically, if Britain remains in the EU, it will become, in the long run, it will be Brussels that will be controlling Britain. And the but economically, if Britain remains in EU, it will make a lot of money because it will be what do you call it? They will get the customs and all of the duties will be one, so they will not suffer making money if they're in the EU. So that's the camp. The Remainers are there for the economic issue. The Brexiteers or the leavers are are leaving because of the political aspect of the whole of Brexit. Because if you remain in the EU, that's the end of Britain, in the sense sovereignty. And sovereign, if you studied sovereignty, it means the what do you call it? Sovereignty belongs to the people. So if you stay in EU, they what happened to the EU is that they never discussed sovereignty. And sovereignty is a constitutional concept, because very soon EU is going to become a political bloc. That's what it should be. In the end, for it to grow, it should be a political bloc. And so already the sovereignty is one. It's an EU sovereignty, meaning that the people of Europe are ruling EU through their representatives, the representatives sent to the European Parliament. But the problem is, most people don't value the European parliamentary system because there is no European election for them. That's what people were wanting, and that's what many British people didn't like. And some of them also didn't like the fact that laws were being made in Europe and they had to come to Britain. So what does this mean? It means that the British Parliament was also going to be changed, because very soon in the long run, most laws are going to come from Europe. So you'll even find some European parliaments, they will slash their MPs. Reason being, they don't need them. Brussels will become the place where decisions are made, not your home capital. So these ones in your home capital will just be there to oversee what has already been passed in Brussels. So that's why people are like that in Britain. So it's not really complicated. It's either you're on the political side or you're on the economic side. Now, where would I lie if I was there? I would be on the economic side. Reason, there's a reason. It's a fact that sometimes there is an end to nations, and very many nations have come to an end in Europe because of the EU. Of course, they have not really ended because they still have national armies, they have national banks, they have national parties. But what I mean is um, a country is not able to a country is not able to do what it's supposed to be. A country is not able to make its laws, many laws, like the European laws. They're not able to make their own national laws. So that means there's going to be a regional law. So to me, why I support and then for in Britain's case, why I support the economic uh, vote, I mean, and that means to remain in the EU, is because right now there's a political issue for leaving EU. If they leave EU, Britain leaves EU, Scotland will leave you, the kingdom. And then there will be war between Ireland and Northern Ireland because Ireland wants to remain in EU, but Northern Ireland is part of England and UK, so it cannot leave. It will have to choose whether it is going to. It has already chosen to leave EU, so Northern Ireland will be English territory, and Ireland will be European territory because they are part of EU. So there's going to be a problem with the border, and that can be war between Northern Ireland and Ireland. And Scotland will leave the kingdom, the United Kingdom, and that will only be England left, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and Scotland has gone. And then Scotland will be in the EU. So when that happens, they can be who knows, Scotland, many people may move to Scotland. Europeans will be able to go to Scotland. Europeans will be able to go to Ireland, but the most important country in the UK right now when it comes to EU, staying in the EU, is Scotland. So Europeans will go to Scotland and they can now come to Britain when they have made money in Scotland. So basically, Britain will still have an immigration problem because Europeans are able to go to Scotland. And that one is even more easier than what was happening where people have to cross the French Channel to reach England. So that's the catch to is being caught between a rock and a hard place. If Britain remains, it will lose its sovereignty. National sovereignty is gone. If if Britain leaves, then it will lose Scotland, and therefore EU will be closer to them than ever before. Because you've left the EU, but your neighbor Scotland is in EU. So basically, you've done nothing, and life will be maybe easy in Scotland because the customs will be the same. So it is just a mess, very big mess. So why is it a mess? It is affecting the infrastructure, the political infrastructure of Britain. So I think Britain is going through a crisis. What does it want to look like? Does it want to remain a kingdom, or it doesn't want to remain a kingdom? Because either way, Scotland leaving the kingdom will make the kingdom weaker. In fact, that would be the end of the word United Kingdom. Yes, it's going to become England, and it will no longer. I don't know whether they call it the Kingdom of England. Yeah, you see, the constitutional crisis. It's a constitutional crisis in in Britain. That's all. So we wait and see. So for me, um, that's why I've said there's second thoughts in some things, and there's things like that. There is need of second thoughts. But for me, I was always on the economic side. But I understood, I knew the political side was going to win. The Brexit was going to win. Reason being, they, the people, the local people in Britain tend to be very conservative. They are very nationalistic. They love their country. So they can even leave EU. That's why to me I'm seeing there's no harm having a second referendum and getting the same result. It's a confirmation of what do people really want. That's why I think for the Prime Minister, she should just accept to have a second referendum. There's no harm to know what people are thinking. Maybe they have changed their mind. Yes, it's possible. I mean, have the voters changed? Nothing has changed. It's the same. Very few changes, very minor changes. Because even if a child is born tomorrow, he cannot vote. So the voter register is still the same. And that's what I would say for myself. So it's a very, I'm telling you, for those of you who are political historians, it is very crucial, extremely crucial. It is going to change, and what will happen to Britain? It will change the entire world. That's what it is, and it's a crisis of the political crisis of the century. Yes, I will do a proper video discussing this. Okay, now on the year of review, we're going to do a review of the year very soon to look back at what has how 2018 has panned out. It has been a 50-50 year, some nice good news, like India decriminalizing homosexuality, and then some sad news. We lost some very many big stars. Actually, I call them black stars. Most of the most very important black people died this year, and it's part of life. I've even come with a new philosophy that when you die, you don't die. I'll do this in my theological channel. You actually leave the planet and you maybe go to another planet. So anybody who dies, he doesn't die. He doesn't disappear. He just goes, he leaves the planet. He terrestrially leaves the planet, meaning he's not going to exist in the planet in a human body, but in a different life form. When we die, dying is to leave the terrestrial life form and maybe be in the celestial life form. And the celestial life form cannot live in the terrestrial life form, in the terrestrial space. And the terrestrial life form cannot live in the celestial space. This is why I always question the resurrection of Jesus Christ, in the sense that what happened to him? Is his body, did he have a body that was very was the body celestial, or the body was terrestrial? In my belief, his body was celestial. My belief, because his body was able to do wonders. That's my belief. But I'll talk about the resurrection of Jesus Christ in my theological channel, and I have questions with it. I really don't like it. It's how it's formatted. There's a sometimes, my I some as I told you, much as I'm in the religious movement, I have I have a right to question religious issues. Yes, and just because I'm questioning them doesn't mean I don't have faith. It's that I am seeing discrepancies in a story. religion is like that. So I'm going to do a video on that, discussing resurrection. But basically, when we die, the reason why we want to think about afterlife is because we have a psyche. Yes. So you ask yourself, where does this psyche go? Of course, for some people, they believe, especially when I was an atheist, I knew the psyche is natural. So you die. So even the psyche dies, it doesn't go to another world. And most atheists believe when you die, there's no afterlife. You just die. And that whenever you have feelings of another world or near death experience, it's mostly in your mind. Everything is being created in your mind. So even the dreams you have, they're all made in the mind. Everything, your thoughts, they're all in the mind. And the mind is a physical material. It is the brain. You see, you see pictures. When you see pictures, like when you're dreaming, you think you're in another world, but you're not in another world. It's that your brain has the power to create that other world. That's what it is. So powerful. The brain, never play with it. Dangerous. Very powerful body part. It it makes you think you're in another world, but you're actually, because look at dreams. When you're dreaming, aren't you where you are? Yes, you're there. You're on the bed or you're seated. You physically, but in your head, you feel like you're in another place. That's why I'm telling you, I question Jesus' resurrection for that reason. Is that which body went to heaven? Yes, which one? The celestial one or the terrestrial one? He said the celestial body went to heaven. And then he also said the terrestrial. Then some say when he rose again, he showed them the marks. So his body, when he showed them the marks, that this is where I was killed. These are the wounds, the nail prints. He showed them, but he was showing them. Is it that the terrestrial body became celestial? That could be the issue. That's what Paul said. Paul said, when we die or when Jesus comes back, our bodies shall be changed. So it's possible, it could be possible that the terrestrial body becomes celestial. But anyway, we'll do this discussion when we have the body. I mean, when we talk of resurrection of Jesus Christ, it's good to have discussions. Even if you're a person of faith, never fear to ask questions. Thomas still was a disciple of Jesus Christ. Nothing bad about it. You know, nothing bad about it. So please be questioning. And that's why now, when I've come back to religion, I'm not just in religion for the sake of it. I'm there with science. My eyes are opened wide. The other time I was in religion, closing my eyes to reality. Then I became an atheist. I left religion. Now I said, okay, let me come back, because I had spiritual experiences that made my life very, I never understood what I had. And so I came back to religion because of those things, that spiritual experience I had. And but now I'm back with science. I'm not, because I know religion, if you come to it blindly, you will accept, you can fall for its false notions, like saying homosexuality is bad. No, homosexuality is good. It's natural. It is natural. That's what I tell people. Yes, and it's very easy to explain it genetically, physiologically, psychologically. So we'll go and discuss all of these. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll talk more later on.